Hi. For those that don't know me, I'm Virginia Walton. I'm an executive burnout coach. I help women in risk management roles mitigate their own risk of exhaustion, burnout, and overwhelm so they can continue to keep thriving both professionally and personally. Prior to starting my coaching practice, I spent 24 years in the banking and finance industry, where I worked my way from teller at a small community bank to senior vice president of a $27 billion bank by the age of 38. I'd love to tell you I did everything right, but that'd be a lie. Fortunately, I made a lot of mistakes and I learned a lot along the way. And now I look to bring those learnings and insights to others to help them have even greater success and to do it a lot easier. So, today, our topic is how to give yourself permission. And what prompted this topic was as I talked to women, the most common response I got to the question of, what do you want most? It was permission. Now, what they wanted permission for varied from more headcount to, a break, help. The ones that tug the most, I just want permission to break down. I want permission to cry. And I actually related to that one. It reminded me, I was on a business trip a few years ago. I was the only woman traveling with my male peers and a superior who were all, not only were they men, they were all probably about 12 to 15 years older than me. And I got my ass chewed out by my boss on the phone while we were in a car driving, 5 hours to another office. I needed a minute. I'm human. I had an emotional reaction. I just needed to experience that, but I couldn't because it's not acceptable, right? And I couldn't separate myself at 70 miles an hour in a moving vehicle away from these people. So my human reaction was to want to cry. Their human reaction was to want to resolve. So the more I tried to hide it, the more I felt it, the more they felt their reaction. It was awful. It was awful. So I get that. Sometimes you just need to be able to cry, but you can't. You can't give yourself permission. I wasn't able to say to myself, you know what, you're human. Just let it out. Ignore the fact that there's 3 or 4 other guys in the car. They're about to see you lose, what they might perceive as lose your shit. But I thought about it. I go, isn't it ironic that here, as risk professionals, even if you don't have kids, you spend all day giving permission, right? In some way, shape, or form, you're essentially being asked to give permission. Whether it's, hey, is this issue been remediated? Can we close it? And you make the decision, yes, you have permission to close it, or no, you don't. Does this control successfully mitigate the risk that we've identified? Yes, it does. You have permission to implement it. Is this policy, charter, board report ready to be submitted with board material? Yes, you have my permission to submit it, to upload it, to advance it. Do we move forward with this claim? Is this product within our risk tolerance? Yes. On every dimension of risk, it's within tolerance. We can advance and move forward to developing and implementing. Does this third-party provider meet our standards? Will they uphold our data security guidelines? Yes. You have permission to enter a contract with them, right? So no matter what type of role you have, you're essentially making decisions and evaluating to move forward. So why is it so much harder to do? Because you do it all day without thinking about it. Obviously, you think and make the decision, but it comes naturally. You don't pause and think, I can't, unless it's not acceptable, of course. So why can you not apply that skill in your personal life? Yeah. take the same approach. So let's use the example of needing a break. We all need a break at some times. Even our devices need a break, right? When the battery runs down, they don't act as well. The funny thing is, they don't ask permission. They just shut down and say, we're done. But yet we feel we need permission. Think about that. So if you have this scenario, you're tired, you're run down, right? You're physically exhausted. You're starting to feel the wear. You're not getting through things as quickly. You're missing things. So you have to read things multiple times, whether it's just a simple email to make sure, wait, did I get everything? Did I address everything? Or it's one of those evaluations, oh, I got to double check to make sure I didn't miss anything because I'm so tired. Yeah, right? That's the scenario. We can probably all relate to that. Okay, so let's put on our risk hats. So, tired, worn down, not being as efficient, not being as accurate. That sounds, if you had a process like that, you'd probably turn in some switches yellow on your dashboards, right? So, okay, if it continues, what's the risk to you? Poor quality work. You're probably getting edgy or snippy or snarky, whatever term that, your HR professional has shared with you, or you just notice in yourself as you're dealing with your peers and your team. So that's not going to improve relationships. That's not going to make it easier to get things done if people don't want to talk to you because they don't want their head bitten off, or they just don't want to deal with your attitude, right? And you're not trying to be that way. You're just tired. You're just tired. And so you're short on patience. You're snippy, right? Yeah, and you're human. So you can see there's the potential for negative consequences ultimately on your comp, your ability to be effective, right? Your potential to be promoted. If you don't get things right, if you're not being super efficient on your game and a super fun to work with, your longevity with the organization is probably a risk, right? So how do you mitigate that? You need to take a break. You need rest, right? You need to step away. You need to take some PTO. And if you're thinking, Virginia, I can't. Okay, did the company exist before you? Yeah, probably. Is it going to exist if you leave? Yeah, probably. Right? You've probably taken a vacation. So even if you're thinking, oh, I'm off, but here you are checking emails, or you're getting up before your family on vacation to check in. Stop. I hate to tell you, we are all replaceable. Yeah. Even presidents of companies are replaceable, right? So think about that. You're not doing yourself any good by not giving yourself time to disconnect. Listen, I get it. I was there. The first year I was in the role of senior vice president, reporting directly to the chief risk officer, I had a lot to do. I had to build a team, build a function. My mother passed. I had to settle her estate, blah, blah, blah. Right? Like everybody, I had a shit ton of stuff on my to-do list. I get it. I finally said, I need a break. I am run down. And I picked where I went on vacation based on their policy of restricting devices. Yeah, because I couldn't self-impose turning off my phone. But I made sure people followed the rules for a living, so I sure as heck was going to follow the rule. And I did. And I spent a week at a resort without my laptop. I unplugged the app with my work email. I didn't call into a meeting. I didn't check. I was in a different time zone. It was great. You know what? When I got back, the OCC had not shut down the bank. My team hadn't staged an uproar. They hadn't all quit. Nothing happened. Business went on. And here's what's even better. I took the Monday off so I could kind of ease back into work, get caught up on my email without having to run to meetings. Okay. Didn't quite happen as planned, but I had over 300 emails waiting for me. It's a lot to get through because now new ones are coming in, right? I cleared through the bulk of them that day because I was mentally recharged. I was able to focus. I was able to process quickly, decide what needed to be done, and move on. I was working at my maximum potential because I disconnected. Okay? Just like your phone that needs to take that break and recharge to work at its best, when you do that, you work at your best. So let's go back to our risk assessment, right? The risk is if you don't take a break, all these negative things can happen. But if you do, give yourself permission to take a break, you know that you will work more effectively, be more focused, have more clarity, bring greater ideas, and your interactions with your team and your peers are going to be better. That's a control you'd implement every day, day in, day out. If you had those risks and you had that control, no brainer, you would do it. So when you're struggling to give yourself that permission to take a break, to have that emotional reaction, to remember you're human, do the analysis. Just like if you wanted permission for headcount, you would do the analysis. You would lay out the risks if burnout of your staff, things that wouldn't get done, deadlines that might be missed. You would lay that all out and to say why you need headcount, how much you need, here's what the cost is. So here's the risk, here's the reward if we do it, right? Do the same thing with yourself, right? If you try to fight back that emotion and that cry, you know what happens? It's even worse, right? Been there, done that. Because now that you're fighting, and I have no poker face. If I look like I'm going to cry, oh, you know it. I actually had a male colleague because I was so exhausted one day and so run down and so trying to manage everything. Send me an instant message. You need to go home. You look like you can't handle your shit. And I hadn't been in my role. They meant it from the best place, right? So think about that. That was what I was portraying because I wasn't giving myself permission. If you're like, this makes sense, but I don't know how to do that, use one of the templates you use at work all day for making these types of decisions. If you're like, I still don't know how to do that, Virginia. Intellectually, it makes sense. I don't know how to do it. Drop me a comment. Drop me a DM. I will send you a template. I will send you a permission slip if you need it. It takes a village. Let me be part of your village. Okay? Do the same analysis you do all day professionally for your own personal needs if you don't know how to give yourself permission. Not reinventing the wheel here, guys. It might be more than signing off the permission slip you did for your kids' field trip, class trip. It's that time of year. Sign up for summer camps and, I'm not going to hold you liable. Same thing. Stop. Look at the scenario. Identify the risks and how are you going to mitigate them? And if it means giving yourself permission to take a day, to let the laundry sit another 2 days, I'm sure nobody in your house is going to go out of the house naked. If you have teenagers and they need their uniforms, teach them how to do the laundry themselves. Learning opportunity, right? Whatever permission you need for you to feel well, you don't need somebody else to give it to you. You have the authority. You have the tools to determine what you need. Do it. If you're not sure how to start, it's where I come in and I can help. So, I'm dead serious. If you need to know how to do this, drop me a message, drop me a comment, and I will share with you the tool for how to actually do this analysis. I know you know how to do it. Okay. And I'm here to help. And if you're like, you know what? I get this. I know somebody else who needs to hear this. Please share it with them. It takes a village, right? Even as adults, it still takes a village to get us through life. So be part of somebody's village. So if you're interested in learning more, check out my website, virginiawalton.com. Hopefully you remembered it. You've been looking at my name for the last few minutes. So check out my website, virginiawalton.com. Drop me a message, hit up my LinkedIn profile. You'll find more great videos like this on my website. And remember, share. We're all in this together. So I look forward to talking to you soon and helping you find the permission you need to be the best version of you. With that, be well.